What's going on, everybody? I wanted to go ahead and do this video because I do need to address the elephant in the room. And this is what I'm going to ask right out of the gate, like right off the bat. Listen to everything I have to say. Don't just listen to one or two things, and just listen to everything that I have to say. Now, I've been on YouTube for a very long time, and I know how a lot of this works, okay? So I already understand that there's going to be people that are not going to like what I have to say. And if you've been subscribed to me long enough, you will realize that D-Style doesn't care. I don't do any of this for subs. I don't do any of this for anything other than to talk about the sport that I love. That's why I do this. So I need to make sure everyone listens to everything I have to say. Like, if you start hearing things you don't like, just stay with me. I'm going to go over a lot of things. And I do hope that that is very clear. All right. Now, BNB, I'll see. I don't know about that right now because this is a video that I really want to stand alone. All right. So just stay with me here. And listen, I need people in the chat to listen. People in the comments to listen to everything I have to say. Very important. I'm going to talk about a couple things. One, my post-fight thoughts on Fury Wilder are already out there. I did a post-fight immediately right after the fight. I gave initial thoughts the Sunday after. I did an aftermath show on Monday, and I've talked about it with Ashley Knuckles that following Tuesday. You guys know my post-fight thoughts, okay? And it's out there. The receipts are there. You can listen to those, but I'll give you a brief breakdown right now either way. I think Tyson Fury, right, did what he had to do to win the fight, okay? In terms of the strategy, I'm talking about the strategy. I did not in any way, shape, or form ever refer to Tyson Fury's performance as anything other than a great performance, okay? I just want to make sure people understand that. That's out there, and I'm saying this for a reason. There was a lot of channels just, not giving Tyson Fury his credit. And that's their prerogative. I'm not here to tell other channels what to do or what not to do. All right? I'm not. Now, with that said, I've been hearing a lot of things, and I'm going to get to the main topic, which is the gloves. But before I get to the gloves, back to the strategy. You did not hear D-Style Boxing complain about the hold. You did not hear D-Style Boxing complain about headlocks and leaning on. You did not hear D-Style Boxing complain about any of that. That he hit him in the back of the head. And you heard me say Deontay Wilder hit him in the back of the head too. Like, that's the first knockdown in the first fight was in the back of the head. But it wasn't illegal, though. Tyson Fury ducked low. And you heard me say, this is before Showbiz the adult came out and said it. I said it immediately after the fight. You cannot stop a punch from hitting its target. That's not going to happen. If you aim, fire, dude turns his head or leans down, lands in the back of the head, that's your fault. You've heard me say that. All right? I've been very consistent about this. I've been watching boxing far too long to not be consistent about it. Because I was here when Manny Pacquiao fans were complaining about some of the quote-unquote illegal things Mayweather did. I didn't do it to Mayweather. I'm not going to do it to Fury in terms of the strategy. I was here when people were complaining about Kovalev. Crying about how dirty Andre Ward fought. I didn't do it to Ward. I didn't do it to Fury. Now, maybe there is channels out there that are hypocrites and they only do it this time and that time. If you want to return a favor, okay, you could do what you want. Me, I'm just going to stay consistent. That's what I'm going to do. With all that said, now that we got that out of the way, I've been hearing about the glove. All right? And I saw a video by Young Pharaoh. Let me first address some of the things that don't make sense, but then I am going to come full circle about a concern of mine. But first, let's go over things that don't make sense and that do not help the process. Okay? Bringing up irrelevant points does not help the process. One of the most irrelevant points I've heard from Young Pharaoh was that it can't be a coincidence that Kenny Bayless was a ref for the Cotto Margarito fight and this fight. That is an irrelevant point. It does not help the process. It's not evidence of any way, shape, or form. And it will shut down a lot of people once they hear that, because that is nonsense. Let me explain why. Kenny Bayless refs fights in Vegas. Kenny Bayless has refed many championship fights. Hundreds of them. That's number one. Number two, the situations are not alike whatsoever. The Tyson Fury situation is a loose glove. The Margarito situation was tampered hand wraps. So saying, well, Kenny Bayless was in the ring and didn't say anything about Margarito's hand wraps, and he also didn't say anything about Fury's hand wraps, but in the first Fury fight, the ref did say something about Fury's glove. That is nonsense. That doesn't make sense. And when people hear something like that, they say, what type of nonsense is this? And they shut down the real concern that I'm going to bring up in a little bit. How the hell is Kenny Bayless? No one knew. Not even Cotto's side knew. No one even suspected that Margarito had plaster of Paris. Now, do I believe in my heart that the dude did have plaster of Paris in the fight? Yes, and I'll explain in a moment. But he wasn't caught that night. They didn't catch him. Cotto's uncle was there when the dude was getting his hands wrapped. The commission was there. There was nothing wrong with the hand wraps when they wrapped it. I was here. I covered this extensively. The reason that Asim Richardson caught Margarito was not because he caught it while they were doing it. He didn't catch a brick in his hand while they were wrapping the hand. That's not what happened. Margarito already had his hands wrapped. It was already signed off by the commission. They already I don't remember if he already had the gloves on or were about to put the gloves on. But Asim Richardson said, no, wait. Don't put on the gloves yet, or take the gloves off, whatever it was. I need to, you're about to fight my fighter. I need to check your wraps. Asim Richardson felt the wraps, and he's been doing this his whole life. So he said, well, something's not right here. And then he requested that they unwrap it. They obliged. That's when Asim Richardson describes a brick falling off. Well, how did this happen? This happened because there was plaster of Paris in the wraps. If you've ever had your hands wrapped, even just to hit a damn speed bag, your hands get sweaty, your palms get sweaty, your knuckles get sweaty. The plaster of Paris hardens, like in the gauze and all that, it hardens. So it basically becomes like a cast. How the hell was Kenny Bayless going to know this in the middle of the Margarito versus Cotto fight? That's nonsensical, and I need to call it for what it is because it's not helping the process. Okay? There's no way Kenny Bayless could possibly know. Now, not during the fight, but later on, they found a crack on Margarito's hand wraps in a photo. And anyone that knows anything about that knows that's very unlikely. Now, till this day, there's people that argue otherwise, but this is not a time for that. I just wanted to make a point that point is nonsensical. Like saying, well, Kenny Bayless was in both fights, and in both fights, the dude was, there was some type of controversy with the gloves. Well, there was zero controversy about the gloves in the Margarito Cotto fight. Zero. There wasn't even controversy that night. It wasn't until Mosley beat his ass and his thing came out, okay, and Margarito's own trainer, was outcasted, and Margarito's excuse was, I didn't know. When multiple fighters like Lennox Lewis, as an example, on the HBO broadcast said, dude, there ain't no way you don't know. You know. You're telling me you didn't feel the wraps harden as your, fist and your hands got sweaty? But that's a different story. Let's set that aside. I wanted to just put that one to rest. And I hear people repeating it. And I'm sorry, you have to just hear it the way I'm saying it because it's nonsensical. Now, but that's it. Let's talk about the floppy glove. So there's two thoughts to this, okay? One, there is people just trying to find Tyson Fury guilty about something. If we keep it real, that's just the case. However, it doesn't matter, okay? It just doesn't matter. In boxing, these guys are guilty until proven innocent. You heard me right. In boxing, fighters are guilty until proven innocent. That's why they have to take a drug test during the fight. Every single one of them. That's why they get their that's why the commission and the other corner gets to check these guys out. That's why this is a process to begin with. If you think this is a squeaky clean sport, you're out of your mind. This is not a squeaky clean sport. There is a reason why someone from the other team has every right to be there when someone's getting their hand wrapped. There's a reason someone from the other team gets to inspect the wraps and the gloves. This was my issue with the Dillian White situation. They did not allow them to check the glove. And it was nonsensical that people were defending this. It's nonsense. Now, I have two things to say. One, I need to hear from Deontay Wilder's side, his team. I need to hear what they need to say. That's number one. But placing that aside, here's what I have to say, and I get to say what I want. The glove being floppy is a problem. Now, listen very closely. I'm not saying that's why he won. I'm simply saying that's a problem. Okay? I've heard the arguments on both sides. I've heard people just shut it down and say, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? Look, we cannot have floppy gloves in a boxing ring. One, because then it causes controversies like this. It puts doubt. We don't want doubt. We don't want to think. We want to know. All right? That's what we want. We want to know. We don't want to think. Like I don't. Gloves selections happen the day before the fight. Both camps agree to the glove selection. So let's set that aside. So if anybody says, well, I have a problem with the horse here, look, both sides agree to the gloves. When you show up to the dressing room, that same pair of gloves should be right there. Okay? Now, these are heavyweight gloves, and Tyson Fury is a big dude. So one advantage big guys have, like with big hands like that, is that a 10-ounce glove, the cushion and all that is spread out. Okay? So it's still the same amount of ounces. It's just a bigger glove. So they already have that advantage. But hey, those are the rules. A 10-ounce glove. Both sides agreed to the gloves, selected the gloves. Those gloves have to be in the table. They get to look at those gloves again. You get to be in the dressing room when they're wrapping the hands. Okay, you get to be there when they put on the gloves and they tape the glove because you get to look at the glove as well. As what's the dude's name? The guy from Rivals Boxing. Okay, the guy that owns the glove. God damn, I can't remember the dude's name. It slipped my mind again. Russ Amner. Like he says, he looks at the gloves. He inspects the gloves and everything. All right. But we have found a problem with the process. I have no dispute from everything I just said. They should continue doing all that. Okay? They should. But we cannot have gloves getting loose like that. First reason, I just said it. It causes controversy. When the entire process should be to limit the amount of controversy possible. Now, this is not a squeaky clean sport. People are always looking for some type of advantages with these gloves. A lot of Manny Pacquiao fans complained, right, that when Mayweather would hook, if you look at that fight, he would hit him with the side of his palm, okay, not with the knuckle area of the glove. You know what I said? I said, too bad. Like you said, it's okay for him to use those gloves. What do you want? And when a guy throws a punch, this isn't amateur boxing where every punch is going to land with the knuckle area where it's circled and colored. All right? Just like Lomachenko fans complain about Salido, he was using rough tactics and all this. Man, I don't got time for that, bro. Okay, so as far as the strategy goes, I don't care. I just don't care. However, if someone wants to throw a slapping punch, Calzaghe did it. I saw Showbiz the Adult show footage of Ali doing it. Here's the problem. You cannot allow the glove to get loose that way. I also saw Showbiz the Adult, who I believe is a fair guy, but no one's above in his channel, getting responded to. Okay? Here's the problem. He showed footage of Fury trying to get his glove back in, right? It shouldn't be optional, guys. It shouldn't be an option. Okay? He obviously likes the fact that it could get loose, okay? And he likes the fact that he could push it back in. No, just wear the fucking glove. In a third fight, while they're like, I'm not going to tell them what to do, but I'm telling you this right now. If it gets floppy in a third fight, I mean, I don't know what to say. Okay, you have to make sure, and the commission needs to make sure that glove is tight. The ref should check it. Dude, check the fucking glove. The dude in the corner, make sure the glove's not loose. Because there's a couple things I noticed, all right, as I rewatched the fight. Fury would throw like a slapping punch. And look, I think people are overstating how that was hurting Wilder. But what he was doing is placing his hand just long enough to keep the head of Wilder stationary. And then he would throw with the other hand that didn't have a loose glove, okay, a straight punch at it. That's why you hear people saying, what do you mean? I did see him throw straight punches on all that. Well, yeah. But it shouldn't be optional. Even if you don't think, like I hear a lot of people saying the following, but how did that benefit Fury? It's irrelevant. It shouldn't be an option. It doesn't matter. Just like when people say, well, I mean, some old school baseball players said that they would rather not know what type of pitch is being thrown. So it doesn't matter if the Astros were stealing signs. I don't care if, like, you could argue all day, oh, did it benefit them or not? But it's against the rules. Period. So there's a lot of people saying, oh, come on, it's just whining and crying and this, that, and the third. Well, I just gave you an entire assessment. If you want to label my assessment whining and crying, I just debunked something young Pharaoh said. I just provided you some information about the Kenny Bayless thing. The Kenny Bayless thing is irrelevant. The fact that Tyson Fury didn't want the glove loose and he was trying to push him back in the middle of the fight is irrelevant. That shouldn't be optional. It should not be optional. It doesn't matter if it's effective or not. Because you're trying to, that's a way to divert from the real concern. I know that we live in an era where everyone says you're a hater if you say something critical. That's not what this channel is. So I will repeat. What do? We need to make sure it doesn't happen again. The sport's not perfect. When we find a hole in it, when we find something that's not right, we need to address it and fix it so it doesn't cause controversy in the future. That's what we need to do. First of all, the commission should have these gloves after the fight. So I don't know if they do or they don't, but that should be protocol moving forward. That way you have the evidence with you. If Tyson Fury and his team got to take the gloves home, it doesn't matter if they bring you another pair of gloves. Because like Russ Hamner said in the Dillian White case, even if they come out and say, okay, here are the gloves, well, you don't know if that was just another pair of gloves. They could put on a pair of gloves, do some sparring for a couple rounds, and then give you those gloves. So we need to really address that. And now, the reason I'm not saying that's why he won, the glove was even flappier in the first fight. And he never really hurt Wilder like that. Okay? So that's why I'm saying that. But that's irrelevant. Okay? I'm not here to take away Tyson Fury's win. I already told you what I think. But we need to make sure that that doesn't happen ever again. We don't need flappy gloves. We don't need, gloves getting loose like that. Oh, but Tyson Fury, he doesn't like the gloves really tight. I don't give a shit. How about that? It's causing problems. First of all, like, let's put this side of it. Like for example, let's say Wilder would have landed a hook or a right hand and hurt Fury, right? And he's about to get knocked out. I'm just giving you like an example. and Fury takes a knee. He takes a knee. So they tell me he can just like kind of pull the glove out, and when he gets back up, I think I can tell the ref, hey, look, my glove's loose. And the ref has to take a couple more seconds to snug it back up or go over there and, hey, put more tape on it. And, okay, I do believe it's loose so you can use it for multiple reasons. Okay? Just like Joshua in the Joseph Parker fight in the quote-unquote loose tape. All right? Boom, get hurt. Okay, oh, man, you got to fix the tape. Hold on. Hey, give me the tape. You wait right there, Parker. Now, leave aside the fact that Parker tried it and didn't let him. Okay. Now people say, "Oh, but you know what? That's crafty. That's like, dude. At the end of the day, let the corners try to be crafty and all that. Us as boxing fans and the commission and the opposing team should be doing everything possible to make sure that the little crafty things, if that's what you want to call them, okay, don't take place. Okay. There are a lot of people out there that just, I don't think enough people are clear-headed about this. I just don't. So I gave you my thoughts, right? I want to make sure that, everyone listens to my entire video, my entire thoughts, and all that. Okay? Notice, never once did I go out of my way to call out one side or the other or anything like that, because it's not about a group or certain fans or no. This is about the facts of the case and the situation. That's what it's about. That's why, like, when I talked about Young Pharaoh and his Kenny Bayless was a ref in both fights thing, that is a mute point, and it does not in any way, shape, or form help the discourse. Okay, when someone says something factually wrong or that doesn't make sense, that needs to be addressed. However, there's no reason why the glove should be getting, floppy like that. None. You could tell me all day, oh, it's because he prefers it. I don't give a shit what any fighter prefers, okay? I've been saying this for years. Everything should be uniform, bro. Like, everything should be, like, everyone's wrap should be the same. I honestly believe that everyone should wear the same type of fucking gloves, okay? But the sport is what it is, and fighters want to wear their gloves. That's why they have glove selection. Fine, okay? But, man, you'll never see something like this, bro, like in UFC, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they all wear the same fucking type of glove, and that's it. Like, you never have this controversy. You know what I mean? So I gave my thoughts. Okay, I got to do something. BNB, it's just not that time, bro. I wanted to come on here, give my thoughts. I'm going to have people in archive listening to this. There's going to be plenty of times to just talk about all this in general. But I gave my thoughts. This is D-Style Boxing, and I'm out. Peace.